So for today's video, I'm be doing a review for the movie Most Likely To. If you have not seen this film, lucky you, but it is on Netflix to stream, which is where I watched it. So before I get into doing the review, this is going to be my first review with my new rating system that I came up with. So I just kind of wanted to read off what it is, I guess, and probably put more detail maybe in the description of this video. So it's basically like a 1 to 5 out of 5 type rating system. Basically how it works is for number 1, it is Saw Off My Leg. Basically, I would rather saw off my leg than watch whatever movie gets that rating. 2 out of 5 is Stupidity Leak. Not as bad, but definitely not worth watching. 3, I'll send you a copy. Basically, I wouldn't mind owning it, but only if it was like gifted or something of that nature. Wouldn't spend my money to purchase this film. Number 4, it's a Scream, meaning basically that it's just a really good movie, really enjoyed it. Number 5, Final Destination, and that's the obviously best rating, 5 out of 5. Basically meaning if I had like a list of movies that were the only movies that I could own, I would include it on that list. So that's basically the rating system that I'm going to be using now. So Most Likely to Die, if you have not seen this film, it's basically the description is the night before a 10-year high school reunion and someone's been holding a grudge. One by one, former classmates are slain in ways befitting to their yearbook superlatives. For those who don't know, basically what it is I don't know how common this is in other countries. I know in America we have where like when you graduate high school, there's a thing that's like most likely to. So that's where that comes from. And so I will give this movie props. The idea behind like killing off people by what they were voted most likely to was a really good concept. However, and I'll try not to get too spoily into this. I am going to kind of talk about the ending, but I'll give like a warning before I do that. It's a really great idea and would have worked really well if they stuck with it throughout the film. I think only like maybe 2 people actually die in the way of like what they were most likely to. So only really like the first person that's killed and like the second person that's killed are killed in the ways of which that match they're most likely to. So it was a really great idea if they had stuck with it throughout the film. That was kind of really one of my only pros, is that the deaths ideas were cool. Problem is they didn't stick with it. So I'll go ahead and get kind of more into my cons. So like I was saying, the first person that's killed is killed within the house that they're staying in, and all this stuff happens and I'm like, it's just odd that nobody would notice. So when she's like, again, I'm gonna try to stay away from spoilers, but there might be a little bit of stuff. She's trying to like leave the house and the doors are stuck. It almost seems as if they're like glued shut. It's not that she like can't get it unlocked, it's just literally like the doors in this place are stuck. And like how these people are this whole other group of people are showing up a few hours later and suddenly the doors aren't stuck anymore. Like that didn't really make sense. Also, they have the superlatives they're most likely to with their photos up on a wall. I see that was in like the first few minutes of the film, and the first person that's killed off has an X through it, and everybody thinks it's just because, oh, like, they didn't really like her that much, she was kind of like a horrible person, and so that's why it was done. I would just, when she didn't, that's done and then she doesn't show up, that's kind of weird. Like, I would feel like these people would be a little bit more concerned about where these first two people are at, and it takes them at least a few hours. I mean, there's not really a timestamp throughout the film to go by, but it definitely would have taken them a few hours before they even went searching for these people. It, like, was dark by the time they basically went and searched for these other two missing people, so that's kind of weird. They were also in a hot tub in the middle of a desert during what I'm assuming was summer. Again, there's not really like a date timestamp for when this is happening, but I'm assuming it's during summer. Why would a bunch of people, like, really, we need to have a big old hot tub scene? Why would these people be sitting? And the thing is, like, for the most part, they're not actually really even in the hot tub. Like, one or two people actually sitting in it, and the rest of them are just, like, on the edge. Because it's clearly hot. That was stupid. Like, you could have just had a pool. I will also say, so I did see someone post about this film on Twitter, the other day, and was basically comparing it to, like, basically said it was like a bad Scream, and it really is. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's basically just a film that tried to copy Scream. It didn't do a very good job of it. The villain is, and he's the photo on the poster and on Netflix, that's not a spoiler, he's basically dressed in, like, a graduation gown with, like, the hat, and he's got, like, this handmade mask. That I had a problem with as well, because anybody who graduated high school and had to wear one of those sets knows how, like, uncomfortable they are, and, like, you trip over your robe, the hat thing never stays on, he's, like, wearing that the entire time. And I don't know, and, like, he doesn't have it, like, glued onto his mask, which you find out later on in the film, so I'm just like, that seems like a really unrealistic outfit to try to wear. Though granted, I mean, Ghostface does wear a big robe, but still, this guy, like, tried to keep that hat on, and the graduation robe, and that was also just kind of cheesy costume idea as well. And also, the acting in this movie was not great. It does have the actress that played Brittany in Glee, and she was kind of the only, like, bearable character for the most part throughout this. Her and the character that was, like, her best friend, was okay she was okay as well. The main character, she kind of becomes, like, this main character, main focus, and she really, the best friend, and the love interest from high school are really the only memorable people about this film. There were so many times they kept saying other characters' names, and I couldn't remember who they were talking about. They would be off screen, and you just forget about them. You don't really gain any attachment to these characters through the film, so you really don't feel that bad for them when they do die. And Perez Hilton's in this movie as well, who I already don't like. So that was kind of annoying. And he was horrible. He was supposed to be, like, the comic relief type character, but he just wasn't funny, and his screaming was horrible. It was so clearly fake and just so bad. It was just this obnoxious high-pitched scream, and it was just not, you didn't believe it. And also there is, of course, a sex scene. There has to be. you know, a bunch of grown adults in a house together. Well, people are being murdered. And that was also bad. The girls, it was like she never had an orgasm in real life. Like, that's not how you sound. Or that's not how you should sound. It sounded more like she was in pain than she was enjoying what was going on. And another aspect that I also found really annoying, and this is kind of a little bit of a spoiler, even though you find out pretty early on, they try to kind of like play with it a little and not do like a big reveal of it till like later on, but you already know what they're talking about basically from the moment that these two characters start talking about it. Again, kind of the main-ish character and the love interest. There is like a high school abortion storyline, and I just thought that was unnecessary and kind of annoying. It's like, we could have done without it in the film. I mean, you could have had, like, they had to have this big dramatic issue between the two of them, and it's like, you were high school lovers. You could have just, one of you could have cheated or anything else. I just found that unnecessary added drama to be kind of ridiculous. I mean, most people aren't still with the same person that they met in high school. Could have just been a falling out situation. And then before I get into my last con, because it is kind of a spoiler, and really just want to talk about that in the end. My two pros, again, I said, but the ideas and the dust were cool, and then it had the girl from Glee. Those were basically really my only pros to this film. The idea behind the movie was a great idea, just wasn't executed very well. And so to get into talking about the ending, so now insert spoiler warning. I will give it that I did not really expect that character to be the killer. That was kind of surprising, though I wasn't like completely shocked, but I was surprised by it. And the fact that it, and this was also on my cons list, the two killer ending. They ended it with someone picking up the costume and the mask, who I assume is probably the guy that they bullied throughout high school, who the killer said was like dead, had committed suicide. I am assuming it's most likely him. It's most likely him. But obviously we don't know, and potentially it never will. Who knows if they will make a second one. So yeah, I was just like, really? Like, it was clearly just like such a copy off of Scream, with like the way the killer looks, the way he kills. His reason for killing was revenge, and then there ended up being two killers. So as for my rating, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 2 out of 5, which is a stupidity leak. It's definitely not the worst horror film that I have ever seen, but it's definitely not great. If you're gonna watch this film, you might as well watch Scream, because it's way better. And you should watch Scream anyway. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I hope that you did like it. I hope that you guys did enjoy this new format of reviewing. If you do, please let me know, and I will continue to do it more pro-con. Or if you like the way that I usually review, which is just me rambling about a film, also let me know. And I will definitely take all of that into consideration for future reviews. But I hope that you did enjoy this. please do give it a big old thumbs up if you did, and make sure to hit that subscribe button for more horror related content. I will see you guys later with another video.